This is a tutorial on how to use Luminance and depth maps. Really cool effect. You can do a lot with it. I should show an example of it on screen, like right now. Yeah. So I froze them. I froze every scene because I don't want to do multiple. I don't want to like have to multi-run characters multiple times. But yeah, essentially, we're gonna like. So the first thing you need to do is you need to create a depth map, and that is essentially because anime is in code, you can't just like record it or and some sort of and an AE that, to my knowledge, is some sort of software that allows you to auto-generate depth map. You're gonna have to do it yourself, and by doing it yourself, you have to create the range of values, from black to white. So I'm gonna do that now. We'll come back later. That's kind of all the foreground stuff. Alright, so there's a ruler there that acts as a reference so I know the distance between different objects in the scene. Oh, if there's an area that's hard to see, do this to increase the brightness while you're masking. You can reset by clicking this. Quick tip, if man don't know about that. Alright. While I'm doing this now, I probably should explain what I'm doing. Don't be dumb like me. Mask on a solid. Yeah, just do it on a solid and then change all the colors later. I tried the shortcut to make them individual solid. Oh, because it makes it faster making it individual solid, but don't do that. Make it solid. It's been a while since I've done this properly. Just do it on solids. You know what shit is? If it's one block, you don't have to do any subtracting. Just make it solid. Makes it way easier. Oh, you don't have to do this. Or maybe I'm ignorant to a way to, fix that problem. But anyway. Sometimes when you're masking these shapes like this, it won't always be like a perfect circle because it's animation and the people like those are drawing, so like it's not always on model or like perfectly spherical. Just to so sometimes just copy and paste in like circles or like just make sure it looks right. Bro, give me that. There we go. Jesus. Why does AE suck so much? That makes that a lot easier actually. Probably should do that somewhere, but that's just the point. Oh. That's animation composer. It comes to animation composer. That's really useful, especially when you're doing this. Very really specifically. Get animation composer, the TUC tutorial somewhere, on screen thingy in the description as well. Get it. Very good, very nice. Anyway. Shadows don't matter, do they? No, they don't, because that'd be oof. I mean, you can do shadows actually, and then you just have them be. Actually, no, it's distance. You want to do it. You don't want to do shadows because while it is darker, you wouldn't want to do shadow. You want to do shadows on the object, not shadows that are cast onto the floor. So, right here, this don't want to do this. However, if you do want to be extra, can posturize it. Like I said before, tint it. That'd be great. Ideally, because this covers two of those, you'd want to like split it in half or have a gradient go over it. In fact, I was gonna save it until we got to the floor. That's when you need the gradient the most. However, it seems like the gradient needs to come in. So start color white. That's the end color. So if I make the start color this, make the end color this, it will now transition between those two values. I think it's pretty subtle. You won't necessarily notice it. If I just turn this down, begin to like get and it just makes it like more accurate anyway. Now we've done that. Like it'll sell the effect more. Anyway, now we got the balls. Now the balls a bit of a sticky one still, cause they're like everywhere, and they like cover up a range of values. Let's see that. So we got the cage of ball. We got the cage of balls right there. All right, this one kind of further ahead. I'm gonna use that as a reference actually, because that's like the, aside from the ones in the close to the camera, that's what we're gonna use as a reference. That's like the only one in the middle. So another ball, made it darker than the ball before. Boom. All right, we got this ball. That's gonna be very dark. We got this ball right there, made that way darker than before, like that. Goes closer to the eventual darkness. Alright, make that like that as well. I'm gonna make that slightly lighter. In fact, I'm gonna use this, go back to that, and make it darker than that, but not as dark as this. Alright, then put that above the mats. Alright. We got the wall. Oh, we got the wall. The wall is going to be dark. Pretty dark. Like so like this. Darker than everything else there. Alright, now we got the floor. I'm gonna get this gradient tool again. So particularly when you're doing floors, right, you're gonna need a gradient just to make it look, extra right. So because the end of the floor is at the same distance as the wall and starts at the foreground, our 2 points will be, our end color will be this, start color will be white. So if I do that, now it should, I'm gonna get something sort of along these lines. No, I don't know why the fuck there's a gap here. Need to fix that expeditiously, but yeah, that should be about right. There we go. All right. Okay. Now, almost immediately you can tell that something's off, right? Because see, okay, things are right. There are limitations to this because unless you want to spend hours doing this, so there should be no. I won't say no difference, but there should be a very slight difference in hue in luminance between the balls, like where they're on the floor and the floor. Yeah, so like because they're different colors, I can tell it's not too accurate. However, when you've done all this legwork already, when you actually do the effect to reveal it, it's gonna look nice anyway. Like it's already gonna look really nice. So you could spend like another 2 hours adjusting this, but I'm sick and tired of this already. Let's see. There we go. All right, got everything right there. Cool. Now we got our depth map. Yay. Now, precompose this. Call it depth map. Now, what we're gonna do with our depth map? Well, there are a myriad of things you can do with a depth map. There's literally possibilities endless. So first thing you can do is I like to do a lot, luminance reveal. So if you, in fact, let me just add it to this because we don't need to work with that much anymore. Do that. Let's see. Don't need anything else really. All right. If I lumen like this, you can see there's a tad bit off. You might want to add just a quick fast blur. My favorite blur, the fast blur. We stand flat. Fast blur here. All right. Just a little bit, just to soften out the edges a little bit. Now, do that. You can see that already. what's black is gone. All right. Now if I let's see, I said I want to think the range of this. So one is all these values here. Let's see. So aside from the floor and the wall, let's see what could I do here. So now you're gonna have to adjust it because what I've done is the range is too little. So if I do this, I want to say I get levels in, and I sort of do that. We're getting more of a like of a reveal effect from this. So now if I apply it, so what we're going to be using to adjust this, right, and to actually control this effect is levels. Now levels, and they kind of sucks because you kind of sucks a little, but it's kind of the best thing we have. So right here we have it by default, and if you want to adjust it, you're gonna have to keyframe it, obviously, right? The brightness. Now this is gonna be like a little bit finicky. You're gonna have to like edit, sit down, edit this for a while to get it to look right. And I don't have a song with me. I have a song right now for this like tutorial, so I'm just gonna eyeball it, if I were to do an actual edit. So you see, this will come into view, then like you can have it at different points. It's just honestly, instead of like, so how you'd work with other stuff, or if I wanted to do this another way, I would like hold control and then like adjust the values. But I think the most intuitive way to do this would just to be go to the point where it is, make a keyframe here, and then drag it out, But yeah, so now you have a luminance reveal. That's all fine and dandy. That's it. That's hard, you got a nice like, I don't know, glitch edit, soft edit, whatever you're doing. Do this, make it look really nice. Now, set it up. Delete that there. Actually, you know what? Let me duplicate this actually. So we got, in fact, let me rename this. Get that. Yeah, let me do that. All right. So if I duplicate this composition, mid-shot comp one. All right. If we did do that too. So if I rename this to mid-shot, Luminance, whatever you, tomato. All right. Put that there. All right. That works. All right. Now we can do this. So let's say we want to call this one mid-shot depth of field. All right. DOF or depth of field. All right. We go to this one. Just undo all the changes that you did to this. Have a accurate depth map. Now, if we make an adjustment layer by holding Control Alt Y, know your shortcuts. Know your shortcuts. You get to here. Now there are loads of different blurs that you can apply, that you can use depth maps for. You can use, use camera lens blur. Go to your blur map. Set that layer to the depth map that we've made, all right? And if I turn this up, blurs the foreground. Now if I invert this, it's gonna do that. And obviously you're gonna have to adjust this accordingly. And I wanna say that it takes it straight. Now things with some effects, right? It might reference the properties of the layer, like in and of itself. So it might reference the properties of the layer, right, as it is in the composition you're editing. So if you apply exposure, all right, it will change it, right? However, or it might like reference it as what it is inside its own composition. So you just gotta be aware of that, when you're working with effects. Let's see. So if I apply levels to this, it doesn't change it. So it references it as was in the composition. Good. It's good to know that, by the way. And in fact, that makes it, I guess, and if you're too lazy to duplicate the depth map and you already have it you already have it like, luma matted, you don't have to duplicate the layer, I guess, which is a plus. But yeah, so right here, because it's not necessarily the best example to show depth of field because it is like sort of mid to wide. Well, I wouldn't say wide. It's not like a long shot, but it's like not very, depth of field. Sometimes it looks good, sometimes it looks bad, depending on the accuracy of a mask as well. But if I go into here and I make another, if I adjust the levels again, let's see, and I make it so that it's more like this, and go back to here. Let's turn it up. Let's just make it very extreme so you can see what's actually going on. So I do that, all right. And if I do this, so you see how the blur changes, right? So I can I can grab it, drag it all the way there, right? And now the only thing that's really blurred is the background, right? And thing is, right, I can animate this as well. So if I wanted to, I could go in here, keyframe this, and then drag this midpoint, further here so that, the character becomes more in focus. Or it's like this, yeah. And then the rest of the background becomes more blurred, And then you can just, if my PC doesn't die, you can see it animate between these 2 points. It seems to be having a stroke. The fans are spinning. So I'm not gonna do that, but see between here and here, how it increases in value. Yeah, anyway, so that's that. That is depth of field. Not necessarily the best example, but it shows you how it works. All right, now, let's see. We got depth of field, luminance. Now with effects. Now, there are almost infinite possibilities with this, with creating a depth map and effects. I'll show some examples now, but it really is, it's actually sick what you can do with it. So I'm gonna turn this off and apply another adjustment layer. Now, for example, if I wanted to do something a bit, let's see, what would I usually do this? Sometimes I do it with chromatic aberration, or S distort, for example. Let's do that. Let's do distort chroma. So I do this, and it will show up like this, and now if I need to apply this to the layer actually, in and of itself. All right, if I do that, that's crazy. Boom, that's a bit mad. All right, take this off. Use that as like a base, right? Then because I want it to be further away, right? I don't want the characters to be all distorted up. Let's do that. And that lumen inverts it. Now, so all the dark values will have this effect, and the effect will gradually decrease as it becomes brighter. So the character in the show, that is again in the depth map, white, will not be affected by the effect. And so it works to varying degrees with different effects, and you just gotta experiment, find out how it works for you and what you want to do. But if I do this, you can see that we can create this sort of trippy psychedelic thing, and it affects the characters. It affects, it doesn't affect the character and it affects the background, right? Again, all of this is, you can change the, as well to vary. If you want this to affect more of the background, you can do this like that. If you want it to affect less, you can do that. And you can do a lot of things. It's really up to you what you want to do with it. maybe this store was not the best thing to use an example, right? And I'll make another composition to have this there to demonstrate what it does. But yeah, I think that's it. No, it continues. Let's add particular really quickly. Now, yeah, let's try that real quick. So let's say I have some sort of, so when you're doing particles, right? So you should already know how to use particle. I have, this tutorial assumes you already know how to use particle. If you don't, there are loads of tutorials out there that you can use as a resource. But let me slowly apply particles right here, right? Now I've got some particular, right? And you got this right here. Now let's say we want accurate depth of field. Now I think in particular that there is a way to actually have it, you know, to if you use the camera you can do this. If you want to achieve the same effect and you want the particles not to be blurred, if you apply it on an adjustment layer like we did before. So if I do this and I do the, let's see, camera lens blur, right? I go to the depth map. See, the problem is, right, is that, oops, that's a bit too much. We're doing too much here. Problem is with this is that, if I invert this, right, the particles in the background be blurred. However, I don't know, what if I, you know, in a situation where I don't want it to be blurred and I want particles actually to be primarily in the foreground, a way you can do this, right, is so that you could go into your actual depth map, and if you know, put this in, hopefully they should be like the same seed, they should be the same particles. But yeah, you see, like right here, this particle isn't blurred, and obviously it will, this cause bad annoying, but obviously this will like affect it at different degrees, and it will look, you know, you get varying results on how good it will look. But yeah, this is sort of just to let you know, if you're doing particles and you don't want the particles to be blurred for some reason, just, quick tip it, make sure you put your particles in your depth map composition. But yeah, aside from that, that's kind of the basics for Luminance, for working with Luminance and anime. And specifically for anime, you're gonna have to do a lot of this like manually, which is gonna be kind of annoying, but and tedious and long. And I think it's like been an hour, but if you want that sweet, that nice edit, you just gotta like go that extra mile. And yeah, I do this all the time. I probably showed examples before, and we'll show examples. I swear to God, this goes better on, and show examples later. But that should be it. Yeah. So if you like this tutorial, subscribe. Which my edits, my greatest hits. So like, comment, share, favorite, all of that 5-star rating and that. Don't dislike. Don't be a dickhead. Follow me on Instagram as well. Yeah.